Hi guys, welcome to Being Real, a podcast where it sounds like what it is. We're here to be real, have authentic conversations, no filter, just me and a camera. My name is Kylie. My goal is to be able to let you guys in on my life, my experiences, things I've learned, and things I'm learning, and bring you guys along for the ride. Our world has lacked a sense of authenticity, so let's bring it back by being real with one another. I hope you guys enjoy the episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hi guys, it's Kylie. I just wanted to hop on here to give you guys a few disclaimers before you start the video and the podcast. Number one, thank you guys so much for all the support in the last video. Truly, it has meant so much to just read all those comments and to see how just Jack and I are able to achieve what our goal is and what we prayed for going into the episode, that we'd be able to reach some of you guys and relate and allow you to feel seen based on things we're experiencing and just opening up about. So thank you guys so much for the encouragement and that. It's cool just to see it all kind of come out into fruition. So thank you guys. Number two, okay, so going into this episode, Jack and I wanted to do kind of like a join us on the road back home type of video. And unfortunately, technical issues kind of came about. On my end, one of my mics, or my mic that I had, was sounding kind of muffly. So when you hear me talk, I know I kind of sound like I'm underwater. That's not the goal. So I just want you guys to be aware of that. Jack sounds incredibly clear with his, so he's all good to go. But I am aware that some of my audio might come off kind of muffly at times. So just know as you listen, I'm aware of it. I know it's kind of annoying to hear, but I promise we'll have it figured out in future episodes that we do in the car or we do where we have the mini mics being used. So wanted to share that with you so y'all weren't listening and be like, what the heck? I can't hear this girl. I know. I'm sorry. I wish I could have fixed it. We were dealing and recording off of my hotspot, so we were working with what we had. But that's part of being real. It's just joining us for the ride and holding on as tight as you can. So anyways, thank you guys so much for all the support. It truly means a lot to Jack and I, and especially as this channel and platform continues to grow. So hope you guys enjoy. Hello everybody. We are back with another episode of Being Real. As you can see, we're in the car. We have a puppy dog. She's sleeping right there. Super cute. TBH, we're recording on the computadora in Spanish is what it's called. We've tried several options to try to get the camera to work, but because we're recording and it's sunny out, it is not working, and it's super bright and it makes us look like ghosts. So it's been about 30 minutes, 40 minutes trying to figure that out, and it was a flop. But here we are, and we're here to chat. Jack, how you feeling?
Better now.
He's the captain of the ship. He's got his Starbucks, his Starbucks. Jack, what's your go-to coffee order from Starbucks?
Cold brew.
Cold brew.
5 Splenda or stevia.
5 Splenda and stevia.
Or not both.
What?
I said or. Not and. Yeah. That'd be like way too much. And 10 Splenda coffee is insane.
Yeah, that'd be nuts. So I would say my go-to is, I don't really go to Starbucks, honestly. I'm a 7 brew girly through, unfortunately. But I'm honestly a homebody when it comes to coffee. I love me a good homemade espresso and creamer that does the job. Muy bueno. I know that's super American of me to say, but it's fine. I took 4 years of Spanish, and some of it stuck, but not super well. But it's okay. I do like the s'mores type drinks. I think those are good. I've only gotten those like once, but I like the idea of them, honestly. The cinnamon lattes are probably my favorite, so those are pretty good. I usually get the cinnamon bun from 7 Brew. Anywho, so that's kind of my spiel on Starbucks coffee / 7 Brew. But yeah, we're heading home from a jujitsu tournament where Mr. Man Smackdown took his opponent down and swept and absolutely ate. As in, he won. What do you mean?
None of what you just said.
I just kind of described it in a very dramatic, elaborate way that you want.
Had a BJJ tournament, won in 2 minutes via armbar, or not tournament, super fight.
Yep.
And it was good. It's a good excuse to go back home.
Mm-hmm.
So
got to see the fam, hang out, be outside. It was amazing, as you would say. So one thing Jack and I go back and forth about, I wouldn't say super often, but here and there, especially when it comes to sports. So I'm a distance runner. I ran in college, ran in high school. So I've run competitively for years. So when I say running, I'm not referring to running club and doing casual Joe stuff. You know, I've done pretty hard running stuff, track workouts, sprints, all kinds of crazy stuff. I was telling Jack probably the hardest workout I did is like several mile repeats at like sub 6 minute pace, like 5:30 pace, 5:40 pace. And for me, it was probably more than 5:40 realm, 6 minute realm, more realistically. And we would do that, come back to the track. We'd do 2 miles all out as fast as we could right after that. So much fun. I was sore for days, could barely walk. And then we would have weights like the next day. So that was awesome. And Jack's like over here being like, yeah, jujitsu's harder. You're wrong. But I think they're both hard in different ways. We've discussed, but I want to hear your argument. Why is jujitsu harder? Be specific. Don't just say it's harder because it's.
I'm always very specific.
Well, I know, but like sometimes you're just like, all right, jujitsu is harder because like the hardest thing you do, you're working all the muscles all at once. But like, why is it harder than running specifically?
So just to back up a little bit, I've trained jiu-jitsu now for about 6-ish years, 6.5 years maybe. You've ran all through high school and college, so for longer than that. And in both cases, it's nice and like kind of amazing that the sports have like taken their toll on us in the best way. Like they've really transformed us into new people. I think that's way more important to highlight than like which one's harder, which one's not as hard. But if I'm to make an argument as to why jujitsu is more difficult than whether it be track or cross country, I mean, I would hammer home a few different things. Number one, it is basically a solo sport. So if you lose, it is your fault that you lost. It is your loss to own. When you win, it's your win to own, and it's by your merits that you won. I'm not saying that most, track and field sports aren't that way, but I think there's a lot more leeway if you lose to kind of cope by saying like, oh, this person is more athletic than me, or, they're just faster naturally than me. And I think in jiu-jitsu, there's less of that barrier because it's a very mental and like tactical sport. Technique plays a very large role. Like size and athleticism still does help a lot, but that's why there's also brackets based on age, weight, and skill level. In addition to that, I mean, there's way more degrees of freedom in jiu-jitsu than there in grappling, I should say, really, than there is in like running a track and field sport because, I mean, my opponent could be trying to throw me from a certain position. He could be trying to take me down with a certain wrestling combo. He could be trying to pull guard and like attack my legs. So there's more to think about in terms of what to defend and what to attack. And then in addition to that, the volatility, I guess, in which the time between going from not working very hard to like fighting for your life, quite literally almost, is very short. So in terms of like the perceived exertion, like you can go from just casually exchanging grips with somebody to like hitting the gas 10 out of 10 effort within 3 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. It definitely is hard. And also, too, not trying to come at this in a way of being like, all right, I'm going to try to prove why running's harder and why running or jiu-jitsu is harder. Like, I'm not trying to make this a debate discussion, but like we've gone back and forth and like I just think it's funny. But it has, like, truthfully, one thing we have in common is how running and jiu-jitsu both have done so much in our lives in the sense of like how they've grown us, how they've challenged us, and like really allowed us to become the person we are now just by challenging us in something that we didn't think we really could do in the first place. And then we worked really hard at it and then boom, we're able to excel at it. I think that's cool how both running and jiu-jitsu played out for us. So 100% correct. I also agree with that. I just think I was just making that comment because I thought it was funny. Because I was like, so why is jujitsu red, or why is jujitsu better than running? You're like super deep with it, but
Well, I could use the easier argument. It's more fun. Yeah,
yeah, it's whatever.
3 words. It's
I
more
do
fun.
okay. I do think there's gender differences. Like I know girls do jujitsu. I mean, guys do running too, but I mean, I don't think there's a huge population in terms relative to the guy population that do jujitsu. So I think
No,
like
because it's hard. Like you can't. People quit or
one,
they don't try
are
it.
you saying that females can't do jujitsu because it's hard?
That's not what I said. You said about guys that there's not a lot of guys who do it.
No, 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 no. I said there's not a lot of girls that do jujitsu compared relative to guys.
Yeah, I
Like
think
there's
that's reasonable.
more guys that do it.
I think that's reasonable.
I think it's more of a guy sport.
Sport's growing, but yeah, girls aren't as inclined to like basically fight, no matter what form of fighting it is. So
Yeah, no, you're right. Also, meant to touch on this earlier, but wanted to also acknowledge too in our previous episode, a lot of you guys supporting us and left some pretty supportive comments as well, which we really appreciate. Just getting to share your guys' ability to relate to our story and kind of where we are right now spiritually and relationally right now, just kind of wrestling through the orthodox, non-orthodox discussion within our marriage, what do we do next type of thing. So we just appreciate you guys tuning in, showing your support. It really means a lot. Wanted to share that. We're still wrestling through it every day. There's a new type of discussion. Even yesterday, we were able to discuss even more, and it's going to be an ongoing thing. And we will invite you guys into it. We don't want this whole podcast to be about that, just because I believe like it is a big thing. But the whole point of the podcast is just to let you guys in on real life and what's happening. That's why I try to be unfiltered. Like truthfully, yeah, there's times when I might say something off the cuff and Jack's going to say something off the cuff. But I mean, that just shows that we're both broken in different ways. And, we both are just trying to figure out how to navigate this life through Christ. And we're not going to be perfect in that. So, yeah, I appreciate you guys supporting us, having grace on us in areas that we fall short. I know I fall short in areas where, like, even I did it today, just interrupting you here and there. And you do, similar stuff back to me. And so I think it's cool to be able to bounce back and forth off each other. But I want to just say that thank you guys so much for the support and continuing to bear with us and hang on tight while we navigate things together. So, yeah. But that's kind of where my head was at. I was like, wait, this discussion is starting to feel similar. This was starting to feel similar to that discussion. The jiu-jitsu with running.
what?
Why is one better than the other?
I mean, you posed the question. I did.
Yeah, you're right. But it wasn't meant to be that way. I mean, truthfully, I do think I wanted to ask it because I thought it'd be kind of fun, be kind of lighthearted, of like,
Yeah, it is lighthearted. It's not. I don't. I mean, I don't get anything out of one being proven true or false. I just, like I said before I said anything, both sports are great. They've changed our lives for the better. And that's the important thing to think about. Someone could do a totally different sport. I mean, you could play ice hockey if that's changed your life, if that's made you more disciplined, more goal driven, focused, and perhaps even in a way been something that God's given you to show you grace in your life and to teach you some of these virtues. That's awesome. But it doesn't really matter what it is. It just matters. I think that you find something that does that for you. So that gives you purpose outside of just like making money as an example. I think that's where unfortunately a lot of like young adults our age can go wrong, is that they just kind of fixate themselves on, okay, I'm going to make money. And then other than that, I'm just going to entertain myself with whatever else happens in my life outside of making money. And I think that's kind of a mistake. Because just like anything else, like I think men and women both need things to, be physical, to train themselves, all of that stuff. So
yeah, I agree. I think it's cool too after talking to your mom time and time again, just hearing how you've developed as a man and how jujitsu has been such a big part in that too. And yeah, I think that's just like cool to think that we have been blessed with those in our lives. Like all the whole like what's harder, what's better. I mean, not even what's better. I don't think there's a correct answer in that. But I mean, just the idea of like we both have hard sports that we love and we're blessed to be good at it, get to do them. And just it's cool to see how, your mom was even saying how jujitsu has grown you so much as a man and has really changed you. And she agreed, like what you were saying, like it has been probably like one of the biggest things that's changed your life outside of Christ. And I think he purposefully put jujitsu in your life to point you to him, to see that you can do hard things and prove yourself wrong in a lot of areas. Do you want to kind of share it too? Because I don't think you've shared before on the podcast, like your past, if you feel comfortable sharing it, of just like how you got why jujitsu was such a big thing.
No, I don't feel comfortable. I don't know why. I don't know why I wouldn't feel comfortable. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I grew up just kind of with a split household. So my parents got divorced when I was really young. Gravitated towards like video games and seeking a lot of comfort in food, gratifying the flesh. Like basically just completely ruled by the passions of gluttony, sloth, talking trash on Xbox Live, that kind of thing. I didn't obviously. I mean, I'm like 12, 13, 14. Didn't have any purpose or anything. And I think that's to some degree as like a little kid, that's probably okay. I don't want to look back and say that I should have been some militant, mission driven, 12-year-old. But yeah, I mean, I went from that to finding jujitsu. There's a guy on Xbox Live actually who told me to go try jujitsu somewhere. He was just super fanatic about it. Yeah, his name was Nick.
Shout out. Nick.
And so I ended up doing that, and I kind of got hooked. And I mean, yeah, jujitsu kind of changed my life completely. Before that, I already lost a bunch of weight. So like when I was 15, I was probably like 300 pounds, and I lost in about 9 months. I went from 300 pounds to like 180 or something. Wasn't necessarily the healthiest way to do it, but something clicked one day, and I just, I had a lot of motivation and a good amount of willpower just kind of out of nowhere, and I exploited that to all of its advantage. So I lost a bunch of weight, and then I didn't really know what I wanted to do like physically because I didn't go to the gym to lose weight. It was just all diet, which is kind of just in general what it is in general. It's all going to be diet, nutrition related in terms of like needing extreme weight loss. But yeah, I mean, started doing jujitsu and quickly loved the sport. It gives a really deep sense of camaraderie, kind of like, I mean, it's basically identical to the faith, to the Christian faith, because you are under the guidance of a coach, or in some cases, like at some gyms, at my gym, my coach is a black belt, so he'd also be referred to as like professor instead of just saying coach or saying his name, because there's a higher degree of respect, which sounds a little bit similar to, you know, there's there's people who profess the faith and there's people who deserve a higher degree of respect, such as presbyters or bishops or whatever. So there's like a natural hierarchy built into jujitsu, and you generally the coaches they take the sport very serious. They really help you. They stick their neck out for you, and that's kind of the culture. And so your teammates, you guys train together. You get to know each other on a very real level because you're right next to one another. You're literally wrestling with one another.
Your face is right next to their butt.
Yeah, stuff like that. And so I've met like probably 80% of my closest friends on jujitsu mats, and yeah, I mean it definitely changed my life. And you have to think, if you do something that's very difficult like that, like I said, it doesn't have to be jujitsu, but something that's very physically hard and mentally hard, because you'll get beat a lot. For a while, you're kind of just a nail getting hammered by everybody, and it it can suck at times. It really destroys your ego, sets it all the way down to square zero. You have a lot more confidence to do other things because you're like, man, if I can, armbar this guy and sweep him or whatever, um, You could do a lot of other stuff that's a lot less intimidating, like go up and meet new people, or if you're single or you're dating, go talk to this girl at a party or something. Like all that becomes trivial once you literally fight someone bigger than you and you submit them. So
This is true.
yeah.
So why? Because isn't it like the reason that black belts are highly respected? Because isn't like you have to, in order to earn one, you have to do it for like several years, right? It's like a pretty big
Most
deal.
black belts at legit schools, I mean, belts in jiu-jitsu is kind of a farce because it's not strict in terms of like, oh, a black belt should always beat brown belts and purple belts and blue belts and whatever. But most of the time that should be true. You should have that level of competence if you're a black belt to teach and also to, coach people in competitive settings probably. And you should be highly skilled. But it's kind of relative sometimes because I'm a blue belt and I've tapped black belts before. I've tapped brown belts before, but the idea is like that doesn't happen very consistently. It can happen at times because of other attributes, but it doesn't happen all the time.
Well, it's also like people who are black belts and brown belts don't always all currently continue to train. Like, I think either you said this or someone else said this, but I mean, there's people who are black belts that maybe got it and then like maybe they're older now, they have kids, they have family, and they just retired jujitsu, but they still are technically a black belt or a brown belt.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
generally too, the longer you get training jujitsu, I think they did a study on this. I could be wrong, but I know that once you get past blue belt, you're actually more likely to get a black belt than to quit
yeah,
because it's so ingrained in kind of your lifestyle at that point that you almost have that sunk cost fallacy. If you're like, I'm already in this far, why would I quit?
right.
Which is a good thing in a sport like that. But yeah, black belts, I mean, there's only 5 belts in jiu-jitsu and it takes about a decade in most cases. I mean, maybe 6 to 8 years if you're like training every day. I think the
Right.
fastest black belt was maybe like 4 to 6 years, but the guy was training every single day
Right.
and he already had judo experience and he already had wrestling experience. And so there's outlier cases, but most of the time it's a decade of hard training to get there.
Well,
So,
you were even saying, because spoiler alert, by the time this is coming out, Jack will either about to have or is getting his purple belt. So super proud of you for that. I know I've told you that off camera, but I really am proud of you for that because I've seen how hard you worked and like y'all obviously don't see this, but like behind the camera this past week, Jack's been working his butt off to get ready for this competition. I mean, there were nights he went to classes and, they were not free nights that like we could have done stuff or he could have done stuff with friends. And, he was like, I really want to do good at this. And Jack's not the type of person where he's going to put in like half effort. And so, yeah, I'm just really proud of you for getting to really do that. And like, I know that's something that's you've been really looking forward to moving up in a belt, even though it is like physical or temporary. It's the principle, it's the physical example of the hard work you've put in. And I know that you're really excited about it. So,
yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thanks. That's it.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. No, I do mean it though. I'm proud of you. I really am. But yeah, I mean, that's something kind of Jack and I had in common with our sports is like we talked about kind of they're both hard. Like I said, we kind of go back and forth and like just funny banter of like which one's harder just because we're both in pretty hard sports that we enjoy. I think running, I mean, you can argue jujitsu is harder and like the more quick and strength aspect. I would agree with that. Similar to sprinting, I think, where I think running is harder in the endurance factor. You definitely have endurance for jujitsu. I know there's like 7-minute long matches. That's how much they usually are, right?
Well, it can depend anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah. So they're like pretty short, but I mean, you're going like full blown, all the muscle, like all like the tension you got. You're trying to pin this guy. You're trying to submit him, and it's pretty intense. I compared it to like a 400-meter dash. But
Yeah, I mean, like even 5 minutes in a fight, or whether it be kickboxing or jiu-jitsu or whatever, is a very long time. Like it's
yeah.
an eternity.
Also, side note, if any of you guys watched the Conor McGregor fight, super disappointing.
Yeah, that's sad. Definitely be praying for him, and that hopefully he just retires, because I don't know why you would still fight given how like well he's done
Right.
financially. It doesn't seem to make sense, but I guess if you're passionate about it, sure. But that was just like really unfortunate. And
It sucks because he
uh,
had been working for 6 years to get back into shape to do what he loved. But it also sucked because both parties were excited to fight. I think that's where it was disappointing. Is like, yeah, everybody's looking forward to it, the fans, but I mean, mainly the athletes. Like, you think about training for something for 6 years, not necessarily this fight, but like he's been just trying to get back into shape for 6 years. Finally does it. Super excited to get back out there. And then literally first 15 seconds of the fight, he like
yeah,
messes his
was
knee up. Yeah. So yeah, definitely praying for him. I have a feeling he's probably just gonna stay in retirement because I mean he is near he's 37 and I feel like he's had a really solid run and this might be a sign that it's time to put the gloves up. But anyways, yeah, all that kind of what I was talking about with running though. My story is very similar with running as yours is for jujitsu, which we've talked about. I'm just kind of sharing it for you guys if you're saying. But running for me, I was super insecure in like middle school and even elementary school. I had soccer. I did all these other sports that my dad threw me in, and also I just really wanted to have friends and community. And this was before I was following Christ as well, but I just really wanted to be involved in something that I was good at. And so running was something I actually hated at that point. I was also overweight. I was overweight. Not to necessarily the same extent as you were, but I was like bullied for my weight. I was bullied in my family, by my friends, and so that was really hard just mentally as a kid growing up. Felt a ton of insecurities with body dysmorphia at like age 12, and especially with like friends, I was super insecure. Like, why do they want to be my friend? I look weird. And so that was super hard. And I also had some friend drama throughout middle school, as every middle school girl does. It's just a rite of passage at this point, unfortunately. But I mean, it's kind of that weird era where you're going from elementary school to a whole new school, and then your friends are making friends with other people. And so it's just like a lot of relational dynamic changes. So it makes sense as to why it's hard. But also the sun, it's coming through the window. So that's awesome. Vitamin D. But yeah, so I had a lot of friend issues in middle school. I had a solid group of a few close friends then as well. So I was able to like make some solid connections. But all to say is I didn't really have something that I was really good at that I really liked doing. I liked drawing and small hobbies, but I was a Minecrafter. I literally would go home, eat Oreos and milk, and watch Minecraft videos and then play Minecraft all day. So I grew up as a screenager as well, similar to Jack, and didn't really have a ton of something that made me driven, really. I didn't really know what the next years of my life was going to look like just because I mean, nobody does, but I just had no idea, period, because I was just a screenager. I was like, yep, this is my life. And I was very content with being a Minecrafter for life. I was going to be a YouTuber with Minecraft. Fun fact. Glad that never unfolded because, yeah, that would be weird and crazy. No offense. I actually love Minecraft videos here and there, but for me, I don't think that would have been something that would have been growing in my life. But, anyways, flash forward to high school. They had tryouts for sports, and I was like, I'll try out for volleyball. I played volleyball, I was decent at it, and they were like super selective with who they had on the team. Rightfully so. It's a high school team. So, tried out, didn't make it, and I was like, shoot, I don't know what else I want to do. But I want to join a team, I want to make friends. So, I tried out for cross country after one of my other friends at that point convinced me to go with her to practice. And I tried it. I absolutely hated it, but I'm really grateful for my dad in this. He told me, he's like, I want you to give it an honest shot. I want you to at least try it for 2 weeks. If you hate it after then, I'm not going to make you do it, but I want you to at least give it a solid run. I think you'd be really good at it. You'd make some friends. Just try it. So Spoiler alert, I tried it for more than 2 weeks and I still did not love it. But what I found out after my first ever cross country meet was I could put in a ton of work and receive a ton of results at the same time. And I really liked that. And I know you said similar stuff about jujitsu. Doesn't it work that way too? Like you put in a lot of work, you get a lot of result out.
I mean, there's gratification, but I wouldn't say that it's just like
The same thing.
probably not.
No.
Yeah.
How is it different?
Just because anything could happen. It's a lot more like
Skill.
Well, it's also random. Like that guy I faced this weekend, he could have just gotten a crazy submission on me out of nowhere and like beat me in a minute and a half.
That's
It's
true.
kind of random. So
His opponent was he did 15 fights in MMA.
he was a MMA fighter type. He's also blue belt, probably about 2 to 3 inches taller than me. I was just kind of nervous going into it because he had an MMA fight where he actually broke someone's shoulder with a submission because I watched the fight. He just kind of grabbed it and like cranked it, and the guy didn't even have time to tap, and he broke his shoulder. So
Yeah, I was
just kind of that was the only thing that was really nerve wracking for me. I think otherwise you have like some nerves going into something like that, going into any competition, but I feel like that was the only thing where I kind of dwelled on it, maybe in an unhealthy way.
That
Worried
was
about
something
that.
I was also super nervous about, and truthfully too, it was at the best point of the fight. I had my camera with me, and I was just trying to get some cool shots of him rolling. I was gonna, put it together so that he could have a cool video, and it failed miserably because I got super nervous watching him at one point, and it was actually right before he had like a super epic armbar on him and actually won the fight, and I cut the video right before it because I got nervous and I couldn't focus. I was like, I can't film this. I just need to watch and I need to chill. And yeah, anyways, somebody else got a way cooler video, so praise God for that.
It's me again. So, this is kind of where the episode cut off. This is due to my hotspot losing connection. But, yeah, I just kind of wanted to do a little outro. I don't know if I have any music, so I might do a little do-do-do, jazz music style. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that to you guys. Anyways, quick little speed run of what I was talking about. Running basically grew me in a lot of ways. It was super hard. I loved how I could put in a ton of work and that equaled the result. And on top of that, running brought me my best friends and brought me to Christ. Actually, other way around. Christ brought me running, which pointed me to him. Boom. And with that, running eventually brought me to my husband. So I think they're all connected. And I'm just really grateful for being able to have the story I do have with running. So anyways, I know that's kind of quick, but don't want to leave you guys hanging. Because I kind of just ended it talking about how my camera, I quit recording because I was being a little scaredy cat, which is true. I was like so nervous. Anybody would be nervous if they're watching their husband in a fight. So yeah, I have grace with myself in that position. But I will be posting a very clear video that one of the other videographers grabbed. So you guys will actually get to see the fight that we got to watch. It was pretty darn cool. So stay tuned for that video. It'll be out this week, depending on when I get to edit this. Video will be out either Monday or Tuesday. Hopefully Monday, but we also got back into town today, which is Sunday. So, speaking of, I gotta go meal prep. But anyways, I love you guys, and I am so grateful for each and every one of you, and I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one. I know I said that in the last clip, but I actually mean it this time. So, anywho.